Hello everyone, welcome to Introduction to Linguistics. In Unit 2, we are going to talk about another aspect of linguistics, which is morphology. Xin chào các bạn sinh viên. Trong bài số 2 của môn dẫn nhập ngôn ngữ học, chúng ta sẽ nói về hình vị học. Now I'd like to start with this question. Can you form a longest word possible from this word, nation? As you can see, we can add some parts after it. So we have national, and if you continue that way, we have nationalize and nationalization. We can also add something before it, like inter, and make the word even longer as internationalization. What we are doing is we are forming a word using smaller units called morphemes, hình vị. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to understand what a morpheme is, understand types of morphemes, understand ways to form words, and analyze the structure of words. This lesson consists of two parts, morpheme and word formation, hình vị và cấu tạo từ. With respect to morphemes, we'll be talking about free and bound morphemes, lexical and functional morphemes, and derivational and inflectional morphemes. Regarding word formation processes, we'll have a look at 9 processes: coinage, borrowing, compounding, blending, clipping, back formation, conversion, acronyms, and derivation. In the first part about morpheme, we'll define a morpheme and understand its types. Shall we look at this word, tourists? If we break it down, it is made up of 3 constituents, tour, ist, and s, with the first 2, tour and ist, showing meaning and the last showing grammar. We call each constituent a morpheme. So, a morpheme is defined as a minimal unit of meaning or grammatical function. Chúng ta hãy cùng nhau xem xét một từ, tourists. Từ này có thể chẻ nhỏ ra thành 3 phần, tour, ist và s. Trong đó tour và ist mang chức năng ngữ nghĩa, còn s mang chức năng ngữ pháp. Mỗi thành phần này được gọi là một hình vị, và chúng ta định nghĩa hình vị là đơn vị ngôn ngữ nhỏ nhất mang chức năng ngữ nghĩa hoặc ngữ pháp. Morphemes are classified into free morphemes and bound morphemes. Free morphemes are in turn split into lexical morphemes and functional morphemes. Similarly, bound morphemes are divided into derivational morphemes and inflectional morphemes. Let's start with the first pairing, free morphemes and bound morphemes. A free morpheme is one that can stand alone as a single word. For example, open and tour. A bound morpheme, on the other hand, cannot stand alone as a single word. For example, re, ist, ed, or s. Chúng ta sẽ bắt đầu với free morpheme và bound morpheme. Free morpheme là loại hình vị có thể đứng độc lập như một từ đơn lẻ, còn bound morpheme không đứng được như một từ đơn lẻ. Take carelessness as an example. Care is a free morpheme. It's also called the word stem. Less and less are two bound morphemes realized by means of suffixes. Ví dụ trong từ carelessness, care là free morpheme hay cũng còn được gọi là stem hay gốc từ, còn less và ness là bound morpheme và được thể hiện thông qua dạng thức là suffix hay còn gọi là hậu tố. In the previous few slides, we've said that morphemes are divided into free and bound morphemes. As you will see in this slide, free morphemes themselves can be classified into lexical morphemes and functional morphemes. In other words, we are looking at whether a morpheme shows meaning or grammar. Ở các slide trước, chúng ta có nói rằng có 2 loại morpheme, free morpheme và bound morpheme. Ở slide này, các bạn sẽ thấy bản thân free morpheme sẽ được phân thành lexical morpheme và functional morpheme. Hay nói cách khác, chúng ta xem xét liệu morpheme có chỉ ngữ nghĩa hay ngữ pháp. A lexical morpheme carries meaning or content. It is realized by one of the open word classes: nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. For example, man, here, and sincere are lexical morphemes. Lexical morpheme là loại morpheme chứa ngữ nghĩa hay nội dung, được thể hiện bằng một trong các từ loại thuộc nhóm M như danh từ, động từ, tính từ và trạng từ. A functional morpheme only shows grammatical function. It is realized by one of the closed word classes, for example, conjunctions, prepositions, and articles. For example, but, the, and during are functional morphemes. Functional morpheme là loại morpheme chỉ mang chức năng ngữ pháp, được thể hiện thông qua một trong các từ loại thuộc nhóm đóng như liên từ, giới từ hay mạo từ. The final way to look at morphemes is to break down bound morpheme into derivational morpheme and inflectional morpheme. Cách phân loại morpheme cuối cùng là chia bound morpheme thành derivational morpheme và inflectional morpheme. A derivational morpheme can change the form of a word or even its meaning. Derivational morpheme có thể thay đổi dạng từ hoặc thậm chí là ý nghĩa của từ. Derivational morphemes are realized by affixes, which in turn consist of prefixes and suffixes. Derivational morpheme được thể hiện thông qua phụ tố, bao gồm tiền tố và hậu tố. For example, the prefixes de, in, and mis in dehydrate, enrich, and misunderstand are derivational morphemes, and they can change the meaning or form of the word. Mis turns understand into a word with an opposite meaning, or in turns the adjective rich into a verb enrich, or the suffixes nis in goodness, li and quickly, ed in confused contribute to changing the form of the words. Inflectional morphemes do not change word form or meaning, but only indicate grammatical function. Let's look at Jim's two sisters are really different as an example. The apostrophe S in Jim's is a genitive case marker, and the S in sisters is a number marker. Inflectional morpheme không thay đổi dạng từ hay ý nghĩa từ mà chỉ mang chức năng ngữ pháp. Trong ví dụ ở câu Jim's two sisters are really different, phẩy S ở Jim's chỉ sở hữu cách, còn S ở sisters chỉ số nhiều. Cả hai morpheme này đều không thay đổi dạng hay nghĩa của từ. Now let's turn to the second part of this lesson, word formation. There are 9 processes used to form words: coinage, borrowing, compounding, blending, clipping, back formation, conversion, acronyms, and derivation. Let's start with coinage. Coinage is the invention of totally new words. For example, aspirin, nylon, eBay, sandwich, or jeans. One of the most popular words that was formed under the word formation process of coinage is Google. I'd also like to pause here to distinguish between coinage and eponyms. Eponyms are a kind of coinage, but formed based on the names of the inventors. For example, Fahrenheit, volt, or watt. The second process of word formation is borrowing. Borrowing is a taking over of words from other languages. For example, croissant is borrowed from French, piano from Italian, yogurt from Turkish, and tsunami from Japanese. Words can also be created by putting words together under a process called compounding. So a compound word is a combination of 2 or more words. Examples of compound words are compound nouns like fingerprint, doorknob, and textbook, or compound adjectives like good-looking or low-paid. The next word formation process is blending. Blending is the joining of the beginning of one word and the end of another word. For example, tomato is a blend of the first part of potato and the second part of tomato. Or smoke is a blend of smoke and fog. Motel is a blend of motel and hotel. Brunch is a blend of breakfast and lunch. Now, let's examine clipping. Clipping is a shortening of a multi-syllabic word, từ đa âm tiết, into a one-syllable word, từ đơn âm tiết. For example, we can do front clipping with gasoline to have gas, and advertisement to have ad. Similarly, we can do middle clipping with influenza and refrigerator to have shortened words as flu and fridge. And back clipping with telephone or motorbike, and the words are reduced to phone and bike. Word formation process number 8 is back formation. This is a process in which a word of one type, usually a noun, is reduced to form a word of another type, usually a verb. For example, the noun television is back-formed to create the verb televise, or donation to create donate, or babysitter to create babysit, etc. Another way to form a word is through a process called conversion. It's also called category. It's also called category change or functional shift. They all mean changing the function of a word. For example, we can change a noun to a verb, as in a bottle and to bottle. A verb to a noun, as in to guess and a guess, and so on and so forth. How about acronyms? A word can be created by combining the initial or first letters of a set of words. For example, UNESCO is created by putting together the first letters of United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. The final, also the most productive way of forming words is affixation. An affix is divided into prefix, infix and suffix. Infix chúng ta hiểu là trung tố. For example, from happy, we can add the prefix un to form a new word which is unhappy. Or we can add the infix freaking to absolutely to form abso-freaking-lutely. Or we can add the suffix full to form respectful. This also brings me to the end of this lesson. In today's lesson, we looked at morphology, specifically morpheme and word formation processes. We will see you again with Unit 3 talking about English syntax. Bye bye for now.